Welcome to the Convention Industry Council's CMP Conclave 2009. I'm CNTV's Ed Highland in San Antonio, Texas, covering one of the most important forums in the meetings industry. We will have complete video highlights of an unprecedented panel featuring the leaders of the top 5 industry associations. You'll want to watch all the way through because following the video summary, we'll have a one-on-one interview with your ASAE Executive Vice President, Susan Robertson. It's all brought to you by Convention News Television and sponsored by Tampa Bay and Company. It all begins in just 30 seconds.
Tampa Bay, come play.
A significant and lively discussion on the state of the industry just wrapped up here at the Weston Riverwalk. Eric Allen moderated an important discussion that included PCMA's Deborah Sexton, IAEE's Stephen Hacker, ASAE's Susan Robertson, and MPI's Larry Luteran. There were fireworks about how to deal with the perception of the industry.
When 6 million Americans are unemployed, they don't care for a moment about the ROI that you can gain from an event that takes place in a nice place, because they're out of work. And their motivation, spurred on by CNN and Fox and all of the others, their motivation is to share the pain they're feeling with some of these fat cat executives.
But it's not about fat cat executives, and we have to re-educate.
It's about media. That's what we're.
Stephen, you're giving into the perception.
No, I'm giving into reality.
The reality is it's where we have to step up as leaders in our business and say we need to have these meetings because they make sense for our business. And by the way, if we don't have these meetings, our companies aren't going to make money. And if our companies don't make money, then the 6 million people you're talking about, Stephen, are going to turn into 12 million.
Larry, I'm not suggesting that we not do that. I am only suggesting that we recognize reality for what it is. The ugly reality is almost 7 million Americans have lost their jobs this year. That affects 20 million American families. And when, I don't care what the event is, when they see some people passing shrimp and martinis at the Ritz-Carlton, they're saying, damn it, look at that. We're eating tuna fish, and that's not fair. And that's what the issue is. It's a fairness issue. Now, that doesn't negate our obligation to continue to try to explain the rationale for these kinds of meetings. And it's not all about incentives. We have done a lousy job of that, but we would be engaging in fantasy if we thought there was anything concrete we can do to stop that kind of thing in the future. You won't.
It's the face of the meetings industry, Stephen, where you start to look at this isn't about a Bill Marriott. This isn't about the head of Hilton. This is about the bellman, the taxi drivers, the people within the destinations, the restaurants. Those people are going to lose their jobs. We've lost 600,000 jobs or something in the last since the beginning of 2009 only, and it's not about the executives, because frankly most of them are still employed. It's about the other people that because there aren't meetings, there's no work for them, and those are the hourly employees, and those are many of the people we're talking about. So,
regardless of their differences, all these leaders believe the meetings industry is at a turning point.
This is a remarkable opportunity for us to come together. We're all in the same lifeboat here. To come together and fashion new strategies that deliver enhanced value to our customers, whether those customers are exhibitors or attendees or conference goers. They want value.
You know, we have to find a different way to manage ourselves out of this. And it's all about the content. What are we delivering at our meetings? How can we collaborate on that? But the opportunity for our industry is that we finally have a seat at the table. You know, I've heard for years and years the knock for the meeting professional is that we feel that we're party planners. You know, that whole stigma of making sure the pipe and drape and all that stuff is right. We have a seat at the executive table now. The real question is, what are we going to do with it?
So if we can get some solid messaging out there and push it through our own members, and they push it through their members, and we get some consistent talking points, I think we'll move forward faster than not.
We're also seeing the impact of social media. I think as meetings professionals, as association professionals, what we're seeing now is that we have to go to market, communicate in an entirely different way. So we have to find ways to work with social media. We have to find ways to work in concert with new developments in technology that complement what we're all trying to do, which is add value to the members.
We're joined now by Susan Robertson of ASAE. Susan, give us a little idea of your impressions of how the session went this afternoon.
It was very lively. I think there were great ideas exchanged from very different points of view. One of the things that I think is critical is something that Deborah mentioned, which is the coordination of our message about meetings. ASAE in the center has embarked on a public relations campaign about the good that associations do in the legislative process and informing all sides of an issue. That is a campaign that's been directed towards the new administration. And as I listened to Deborah and listened to other points of view, one of the things that I thought about is how important the meetings component of that message could be. So as we move forward and try to impact the public perception of meetings, of associations, and the good that they do, I think there's a lot of valuable work that can be done by collaborating.
Now, a lot of this was under the big umbrella, if you will, of everyone gathering here. But how do you take the message, what was discussed here, and take it home to ASAE and the center?
Well, one thing is for sure, we have a wonderful meeting staff. They're very proud of the work they do and the way that it supports our brand integrity. And just reinforcing that through saying that, you know, your peers in this community feel the same way and put the same level of importance on it, I think is reinforcing to the work that they do at ASAE every day. In addition to that, though, we have members who have meetings and manage those meetings across the world. So the importance of meetings and how we articulate the value of them and the importance of content, I think, is something that can be embedded in the education that we provide for our members. So it was very informative in that way, very real.
And real is how you could really characterize some of the discussion, because it did get, I wouldn't call it heated, but there was a good discourse.
Yes, there was.
And so give us an idea of how much you learn from getting some different viewpoints from people.
Well, I think the view of the economy and how people are reacting to the economy, the differing points of view of that, I thought was very interesting, with Steve talking about people who are without their jobs having a certain point of view, and then Larry talking about we need to take this road of being very proud of the industry and what meetings can do, and keep going at that very positive message. I think that was because they're both right. I mean, that's the thing. There is no wrong answer in this. It's true that the public's perception, particularly of meetings held by corporations that have been funded through tax dollars, I think is entirely different than a successful corporation who is doing something in a meeting to celebrate its bottom line. I think the public does sort those issues out. So I was in the middle, literally. My chair was in the middle of the two of them, but I think if I were to have expressed my point of view, it would be that we probably have a little of both out there.
Susan, thank you for joining us today.
You bet.
Convention News Television is bringing you video of the entire CMP Conclave General Session. Just visit the CIC website at conventionindustry.org. To learn more about CNTV, go to conventionnewstelevision.com. Our thanks to Tampa Bay & Company for sponsoring coverage of the CMP Conclave. I'm Ed Highland. Thank you for watching.